It's hard for me to like imagine some of my favorite fighters to be cheaters, And he said some of my favorite fighters was cheaters. They was doing stuff that was, and so it just make me rethink my whole perception of boxing is just ruined if I feel like, oh, my one of my the legends I look up to is cheating.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas here in Los Angeles, being joined with Regis Prograis, who has this fight coming up with Jose Zepeda. Hey man, it's a tough fight. Zepeda is a dog, bro.
He's a killer. He's definitely a killer for sure, bro. Tough fight. I couldn't want it any better, bro. Like I really, for me, like my last. Since I lost the belt, it's like people always, they kind of underestimate you and stuff. They say, oh, you haven't fought this person, you haven't fought this person. So now it's like, I'm fighting a killer. This is a real killer. And what better way to fight Zepeda to be a two-time champion? My goal is to be a two-time champion at 140. What better way to fight Zepeda, And then in LA, bro, it's like one of my favorite cities in the world. So I'm cool with it.
He last fought his big knockout win against Jose Vargas in New York. Since then, he hasn't been that active either on his end. But what do you make of what you saw from him in that fight, and just overall from your research as him as a fighter?
I mean, as far as a fighter, man, I know how good he is. We share, like I said, the whole thing going to his camp that we share one of the same trainer. So I mean, I know exactly how good he is. With the fight with Jose Vargas, listen, I mean, you can't take nothing from it because he knocked him out. He knocked him out too fast, right? So it wasn't nothing you can really even like say or prepare for because he already knocked him out and stuff like that. But as far as me, man, I'm going to just, like I said, for me, go out there and do me, and that's all I can do.
There's two new guys now at 140 pounds, Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia, according to his post-fight after his win against Javier Fortuna. I would imagine that's the site, right? Like guys like that to get big names. And what is your interest level of fighting either of those two?
I mean, listen, bro. Not to look too forward, but for me, I just want to get Zepeda out the way. I definitely just want to fight Zepeda. But, yeah, looking at it, I mean, that's why I stayed at 140. I saw how I felt like, a long time ago, I was supposed to fight Maurice Hook at 147. I say people was calling me scary, all that type of stuff. I was like, listen, I know what I want. I saw the division shaping up. You had all these big name guys at 135. They're going to come up. Why not just make 140 and get bigger fights, So – and I'm glad I waited. For me, I'm glad I waited. I believed in myself, and I'm glad I waited. And now we're here. I'm fighting for the WBC. I'm two-time champion. So and that's what I wanted, and that's what I got.
What do you think of Maurice in that Blair fight?
I think Maurice probably need to retire, bro. Yeah, I think he need to retire. I think he probably out of it now. I think he just look like he's just going downhill. If he don't want really, talk too much about Blair Cobbs and stuff, but yeah, it just looked like he just, looked like he going down. He got dropped a bunch of times. He got, he really got beat on a few times. Ramirez stopped him, beat him up. Then he fought Virgil. Yeah, I was about to say Victor Virgil. Victor Ortiz. Yeah. Then he fought Virgil Ortiz, and it was a hard fight for him. But just kind of beat on him and stuff. And then now he just fought Blair Cobbs, and Blair Cobbs dropped him a bunch of times. It just don't look like he's there. Don't look like he's focused. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe mentally something going on with him. So, yeah, I think he need to retire. Just don't get beat on no more, bro. Your health is more important.
I've been asking a lot of promoters, a lot of fighters, just their thoughts on the whole Conor Benn situation and the fallout with that. You being a fighter, what do you make of that situation? How it was handled, and for you as a fighter, like how do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, it's terrible, bro. Listen, my coach told me this a long time ago. He was like, everybody cheating. I was like, bro, I don't believe that. Like, for me, it's so hard to, like, because I never, ever thought about doing nothing, never thought about none of that stuff. Never, like, I'm even scared to take certain protein shakes and stuff. People give me certain food, like, bro, I don't want to take that. I'm scared, like, something come up in my blood. So, for somebody, like, cheating stuff, I mean, from what I understand now, I'm starting to learn more. People saying it's a part of the sport, and that's sad to even say that. But like, bro, like how I don't know. I mean, one thing I don't know about Conor Benn too much, but one thing I heard about him, they said, when I went to the UK, he fought on undercard when I fought Josh Taylor, and so people was like, oh, he's not that good, and now he's just destroying people. He knocked out Chris Van Heerden bad, he knocked out Algieri. I mean, he's destroying these guys, and these guys, especially Chris Van Heerden. I know Chris. I sparred with Chris. And, he fought Errol, he fought Ennis, and they didn't do him like that. And Conor Benn just knocked him out cold. So, I mean, if he was doing it all the time, for the whole time, I don't know. But it's just another black eye on the sport.
I've been speaking with fighters, and they've said, like, yo, bro, like, a lot of people are cheating, and I'm kind of like, nah, there's no way. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. My coach, listen, my
Do you
coach,
feel people are, like, even in your division, or?
I can't say I feel people are, but, my coach been around this game for a long time, over 30 years, and he said, look, everybody cheating. I'm like, bro, I can't. I'm a historian, bro. I really just love boxing, and so it's hard for me to like imagine some of my favorite fighters to be cheaters, And he said some of my favorite fighters was cheaters. They was doing stuff that was, and so it just make me rethink my whole perception of boxing is just ruined if I feel like, oh, one of the legends I look up to is cheating. It kind of destroy it for me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's tough, especially if they start retroactive testing. Like, yeah, when you look at the styles of this fight, you guys both like to come forward. You guys are both aggressive, and you guys are both hard punching fighters. Is that the type of fight you're expecting? Like an all action slug type fight? Is that the type of fight you want?
It depends, man. It depends what goes on in there. Lately, my last 3 fights, bro, I haven't got touched. Now I'm not gonna say, the last 3 guys wasn't on Zepeda's level. I'll give you that. I'll admit that myself. But I mean, I haven't been touched. When I box, I don't get touched at all. So, but it depends. But at the end of the day, I'm a dog too, and like I do lockdown and I do want to fight. So it all depends. It depends what happens fight night and how everything goes.
There's a saying in boxing. It goes, hey, you need to be able to dish it, but also take it. You've been a guy that your power has made a real difference when you touch guys. Like, they react different. But I guess some boxing fans question, like, hey, how can Regis take a punch from a big puncher? Are you wondering about Zepeda's power as well?
Of course, everybody wonders about power, but I mean, I felt like Josh Taylor's a big puncher, and I mean, me and Josh Taylor really lock horns, and we just fought for 12 rounds straight. So, I mean, I feel like I know that, I know I can take it, but of course, you definitely always worry about, somebody's power, because Josh Taylor is not Jose Zepeda. They 2 different fighters. So, in this, so yeah, I definitely wonder about that. So we'll see. Fight night.
How do you rate Zepeda in comparison to Taylor, the other big test that you had in your career? And what lessons can you learn from that Taylor fight and apply them to this fight?
Well, in a Taylor fight, one thing first off, the mental warfare thing. Taylor got in my head. I admit to people, Taylor got in my head. When he got in my head, he touched my belts. I think it was Thursday press conference day. He touched my belts, and I really didn't like that, and I really didn't know how to react. Like, I really wanted to like choke him or something, but I just didn't know. I obviously I couldn't choke him at the press conference. I just didn't know how to react, and it really got to me. So,
what popped in my head? Like Wayne Brady gonna choke a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I just really wanted to choke him, but I just, obviously I couldn't do none of that stuff. It was at the press conference in this country, so I couldn't do none of that type of stuff. But so going into that Friday, going to weigh-ins, I just really wanted to like get in his face, and me and him went back and forth, and but for the fight, I just fought him. Instead of being smart in boxing, I felt like I really could have. If I would have boxed him, I would have had way more success. Because the first 4 rounds, I think I just did it easy, boxed him easy, but I got into a fight and I didn't adjust like I was supposed to. So with this, that's something I definitely learned. Just be smarter, more level-headed, and just learn how to adjust.
How hard is it to be level-headed when the moment gets heated up, he hits you, and you're like, nah, I gotta get one back on him?
It's really hard, bro, because that's me. That's my fighting style. Even in sparring, like when somebody land a good shot on me, like I just want to get him back. I just really want to get him back, and my partners be like, bro, get out of that. Like, you tripping. Like, just box. Like, you don't have to get every punch back. And usually when I do that, I get overly aggressive and then get hit with more punches. But it's like I try to get that one punch off. But I'll take like 4 or 5 just to get that one hard punch off. So that's something that I definitely have to work on. It's a flaw that I have, but it could be fixed.
With the 140-pound division, Taylor, and the situation that happened with Catterall, the belts are starting to kind of scatter everywhere. Obviously, you want to be the man at 140, but is it that to have all the belts, or is it the rematch with Josh Taylor in regards to if he's able to beat Catterall when they go ahead and fight?
I always want the rematch with Taylor. Obviously, I know a lot of people definitely want to see that, so I definitely want the rematch with Josh Taylor. If that comes up, I'll take that. I pretty much will take that before anything else. But I say that, but it depends on the money. They got big old opportunities out there right now. But for me, first thing is first is Zepeda. Like, that's You know, Zepeda's a killer. Like I said, Zepeda's a killer in the division. I'm a killer. Zepeda's a killer in the division. So for me, like, I'm not really worried about nobody else right now. For this next 6-7 weeks, my focus on Zepeda.
Looking on the outside, though, with that situation, do you see Taylor as the same fighter when you fought him, or do you feel he was distracted for that Catterall fight?
It's hard to tell, man. You know, sometimes people peak early, and he might have peaked when he fought me. I felt like he might have peaked. I don't think that, and maybe I could be wrong, but I don't feel like Taylor can get any better. I feel like he's the same fighter. He's going to be the same fighter, and that's it. He's going to probably decline. On the other hand, me, I felt like I went up, basically. But with the Catterall fight, he fought in his hometown, and sometimes hometown fights they are real distracting, you know. And maybe he was distracted, but I know from what I do know about Josh Taylor that, you know, he took that rematch because he has that heart and he has that ego and he wants to get that back. He wants to really get that. So, you know, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what he does in a rematch with Catterall.
You know, you're in your prime right now, and as a fighter, or just athletes in general, you guys have a short window of time to really take advantage of when you're in your prime. You know, looking at your activity level, is there a part of you that's okay with the inactivity? Is there frustration on your end? Like, no, like I got to get something big.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I want to be more active, bro. You know, the thing is, like, so I'm always training. Like, I train year round. I spar all the time. You know, but of course, it's different from the fights. The fights are way different. So, yeah, bro. Like, I just want to be active. It just seems like it's just so hard right now in boxing to, like, be active. No, it's like nobody's really being active like they want to be, you know. So that's what I want. I just want to be active.
How frustrating has that been for you, knowing that you are a fan-friendly fighter, you have an action style, and you have a fan base that wants to see you fight?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. But, you know, it's like, what can we do about it? The fighters, you know, we'll fight. You know, that's what we do. We born to do this. A lot of fighters, that's what we want. They just want to fight. But we can't. It's so many things that go on behind the scenes to get the fights made. And you talk about the managers, the networks, the promoters, you know, all of, you know, everything else that goes into that. It doesn't happen like that. So, you know, there's nothing we can do. It's frustrating, but can't do nothing about it.
Did you have fights already scheduled or just about to be scheduled before this one? And what happened?
So I had a fight scheduled with a named person, you know, somebody that was, you know, named highly at 140, and but we put it in the clause that the Zepeda fight could happen. And if the Zepeda fight happens, then, you know, we definitely taking the belt. So yeah, I was already in training camp, bro. I was supposed to fight August 20th on Anthony Joshua's undercard in Saudi. I was supposed to fight on that undercard. So I was already in training camp for that. And then after that, they pushed it back a week to the 27th, still over there in Europe somewhere. And then after that, they told me, like, cut camp, bro. You got the Zepeda fight. So, you know, then after that, we just, you know, we stopped camp, and now we're here.
Who was that guy?
Victor Postal.
Wow, okay. That's a good fight. That's you know, he's lost, obviously, but he's a veteran. He's had title shots.
Yeah, he's a veteran and stuff like that. It was the best they can do. The thing is with me, bro, they offer so many people, and everybody turned it down. A lot of different people turned. From what I understand, they offered. Of course, I didn't talk to the fighters on myself, but they talked to people, and, like, everybody was turning the fight down. So he was the only one that took the fight. And I definitely still want to fight him, but obviously I want to fight this way worse. Yeah.
No, Postol in that Gary Antoine Russell fight, like, he just wasn't there mentally. That was when the war was starting in Ukraine, and I just felt so bad for him because you could tell he wasn't there. Like, he was not focused at all for that. You mentioned the trainers part. I'm aware of it because I spoke to you about it a few weeks back, but for those boxing fans that may not know, can you explain a little bit about that situation and how you guys going to deal with that?
Okay, so both of us train with Julian Chua. You know, that's why I started training with, I don't know when he started training with Julian, but I started training with Julian back in 2019 during the pandemic when I was living out here. And you know, we've been training ever since. And, you know, I know, like, Zepeda's been training with him. So for this fight, you know, like, me and him was talking about it for a long time. Me and Julian was talking about it because we didn't know what was going on with my situation. I didn't know obviously I was trying to fight for the belt. But at first I was going to see if I was getting the WBA. And then it didn't happen. So we was talking about the WBC. And then it was a lot of back and forth stuff going on. And then it was like, bro, he was just like, bro, I hope it just don't happen, bro. I hope, you know, I want it to happen for y'all, but I just hope it don't happen on my part. But it ended up happening. So, you know, what he did is, you know, he stepped out both sides. He's going to clear. and I won't talk to him until after the fight. I talked to him when I came out for the fight, the Austin McBroom fight. I came out to that fight and I went to the gym and I was with him and stuff like that. But we didn't bring up Zepeda's name at all. We was just me and Scrappy and all the guys at the gym. We was talking. So for this fight, he said he's staying clear. Good luck. And he told one thing to me, the same thing he told Zepeda. He said, look, this guy is good. Don't underestimate him. That's the only thing he told me once I found out that the fight, it was going to happen. So that's it.
So who's training you now, and who's training Zepeda?
I don't know who trains Zepeda. I'm pretty sure his brother's training him. Well, my head trainer is Bobby Benton out in Houston. And but I always come to LA to train with Julian too. I just like when the pandemic happened, I started training with Julian. I just liked his work. I like how he was working and stuff. So I was like, man, I like this dude, and real fresh, and I kept going. And I love LA. LA, like I said, LA is like probably one of my favorite cities in the world. And that's why I came out here.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.